likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions.
Hi, Crunchy. Welcome as well. This is the ChessDojo Training Program Graduate Show. And it's a kind of lighter week this week. There's only 15. Usually we have like 30. And so that gives me a little less stress. Sometimes I stress out about not finishing. We got 16 this week. But that will also allow us just to take our time a little bit more. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom, as is customary. Sometimes I start at the top. Giz Merleflex says Discord link is expired. That's good to know. Let me put that in our chat. So, let's say Twitch says Discord link expired. Okay, thank you so much for that. We'll get that fixed. I am not the one to fix that. I am not that guy. Sweet Blues, yes, sir. What do I have to pay to graduate? Sad. You have to get some rating points, but it's hard. It's hard. Dustin did it. Dustin got the rating points. Dustin said, I appreciate the structure and list of tasks that can help us learn more efficiently. I still haven't taken advantage of the community yet, but I plan to do so soon. Let's go check a look at Dustin. So, Dustin just started crushing pretty good. You can see the heat map. Boom. And he just needed a little bump, but he got it. You know, join the program, little bump. And yeah, everything looks good. From the tactics stuff that he's got going on, that suggests strongly that he's going to graduate again soon. Let's see if he's got any clubs. Nothing. Games. Boom. Nothing. Dustin, welcome to the dojo. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Next time with a game. I think you'll graduate again soon. Iscarel doesn't say nothing. Let's see what's going on with Iscarel. Now, Iscarel also joined recently and is up to 662. Iscarel, you are in the wrong cohort, okay? So you need to be going into the 600 cohort. Common mistake sometimes when we just join. Now, next up we have VR. And VR joined September, went up 69 glorious points. What is the dojo training program website? It's chessdojo.club. Chessdojo.club. Okay. So, this is looking great out of 2. Okay. I respect that even more, especially if it's a newborn and a toddler. Clubs. Oh, look at that. Down Under Dojo, Adult Improver. I'm in some of those, but not the Down Under one. Do we got games? Let's see what we got here. So this is his round robin game against this PLNR guy who I think also graduated, and I covered him on the show, I believe. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do here before I go into the game review mode is I'm gonna look at the times, and we are going to say that both players played pretty well with the clock, you know. So I just want to say, as I do on all these shows, that to get to 1,000 dojo, which is about 1,200 chess.com, there's really 3 things you need to master. Most important, you need to learn to take stuff and not hang stuff. That is the big one. Number 2 is taking your time. Taking your time ultimately will help you not hang stuff and will help you take the free stuff that your opponents will give you. And number 3, we're talking about development. Development is very important, but it's going to become more important the higher you go up, because a development mistake is not going to be easy for them to punish you at this level. It becomes more important later. But one of the reasons I mention it is it's the easiest of those 3 things to learn. Okay, here we go. Fine, weird, fine, and this is an example of where learning openings can be unhelpful, because there's 0 reason to play c3 here, and he's just doing it because that's what, he saw in some kind of book. E4 looks like a better move to me. Fine. So he's just playing a setup, see? Well, he's just playing a setup. Fine. And the ancients generally thought of this as a bad move, because now black doesn't have any pressure on the center. And now what we want to say about the annotation is this is where, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can say that this is where a lot of key mistakes are going to be made. In fact, black makes one on the next move. And so if you had annotated this a little deeper, that would have been a good thing. So, bishop d6. And here is this first mistake I'm talking about. White could play knight f7, tapping the queen, and bishop d6. Well, Grandmaster Gifts, I mean, let's just say something obvious. This website, dude, it's a lot of work. It's not just a free thing, you know? And I feel like it's a pretty cheap deal that we got going on here, too. So, we even have a free tier. We even have a free tier. Oh my God. All right, so knight df3, mistake, missing a chance. Knight e4. Now we go bishop takes, pawn takes, knight d2, and it looks like you're winning a pawn. So knight e4, a mistake. Good. Let's just take that thing. Very good. Now, we're threatening this bishop. Looks reasonable to me. And that's a soft move because it's, he's not developing. He's blocking in his rook. Bishop g3. Knight e4, a little funky. I don't like it. In fact, it's a big mistake. So, whenever you make a mistake in the annotations, it's very important to say what you should have done. I think queen f3 is a nice move. Developing with attack, and then you also have that going backwards. All right, so key thing for improving at this level is mistakes like this are what ultimately are going to cost you. Would have been better to bring out our king. This is an example of tempo. King wants to be in the middle. Good. Okay. Weird. Weird. So, maybe rook d6, bishop f2, something like that. Get active. Now rook d6 for sure. Rook d7, good move. I don't know. A little bit random. A little bit random. Very good. Now you're back in the game. Now you're back in the game, my friends. Oh, we're back in the game, buddy. Okay, so, yes, you have rook e6 and rook e3. Notice that if you fall down a piece in this, at this level, you still have shots. But that's exactly. So let me just stress something. When I talk about grip or vision of the board, it's precisely something like this where you're just not seeing that the bishop is attacking the square, right? And so it might seem very mundane, unsexy, that this is what you need to do to progress. That it's definitely not openings, for example. It's not openings. It's the ability to just see what is controlling what. And the Dojo training program at this level is all about that. And so one of the things I want to stress is even if you're doing tactics that might feel a little difficult, and by difficult I mean maybe a 1 or 2 move tactic, or a 2-move checkmate, for example, or a 1-move checkmate, the ultimate benefit is not anything to do with that specific, tactic. It's that those tactics help you see which pieces are controlling which square. I've been watching my student, who is about 2,000 ChessCom, and he is trying to get his blitz rating up. And one of the things I'm noticing there watching his blitz is he and his opponents are blundering an incredible amount of pieces. So, he's playing 3-0 and 3-2. And viewing that, I'm like, for all of us, it takes at least a nanosecond to process what's attacking what. And GMs, myself included, will make mistakes sometimes. But the amount of time it takes you to see those things is also a factor ultimately in chess skill. Okay, great. So we blew it here. I have a feeling the game's over. And yeah, most, oh my God, he blew it. And now he won somehow. Black shouldn't give up, by the way. This is not over. This isn't over. This is bishops of opposite color, my friend. This is a drawn position. Even if we gave up this pawn, it's a drawn position because we're going to put our bishop on this diagonal and nothing's going to advance. Oh, Lila. Oh, Lila. Well, there it is, my friend. Okay, So I'm going to mark that as reviewed. Bam. And we are going to go to the next person here. Oh, you guys, I am so sorry. I wasn't showing the board totally correctly. You couldn't see it. At the bare minimum, you couldn't see the annotations. So sorry about that. I'll fix it next time. Boring Pouring is up next. Let's take a look. Also joined kind of recently. Hasn't logged too much stuff. But tactics rating suggests this person is ready to graduate again soon. Do we got games? Nothing. So Boring Pouring, welcome to the dojo. Hopefully we'll get a game from you next time. I suspect you're going to graduate again soon. Now, we have a famous graduate. I am doing a workshop, and, I've kind of been meandering through the dojo. I started at 1,200, so it was like 1,200 to 1,700, something like that. 1,200, 1,600 maybe. I worked my way up to 1,900, and then so I should explain it. 1,200, 1,600, you get in a group of about 4 to 6 people. Everybody shares a game, and they meet before they meet with me. So it's a cool camaraderie thing, and I take a look at their profile, go do a much deeper dive on the game than I'm doing here. Here let's call it a very brief review, right? And that's been a really cool class. And Get Chess has been a key part of this group that started from the bottom, and he's graduating, doing really well. Let's read what he says. I'm hoping, by the way, to expand it. So there's so many cohorts, I wouldn't be able to do it alone. I would need the minimum Kosi and David to help me. But that is a dream of the dojo. You forgot to change the stream name when I joined US Champs, but to me it says ChessDojo Training Program. That's what it says for me. All right, so DM Hokie, our man behind the scenes, says that the Discord link is updated. Okay. So thanks to the dojo for helping me keep focused and on the path to improve, sometimes in spite of myself. I have a tendency to focus on the tasks and the work and end up not playing enough. I then realize that I cannot convert any knowledge I gain into skill on the board without increasing my playing frequency. The top things that I think have been critical to my improvement that I feel are often overlooked are: 1, the dojo tournaments. Yes, sir. The game annotation review sessions, and especially the groups and friends that form, are great for increasing our knowledge and skill, as well as expanding the number of fellow players that I can play against in serious games or spar against. And so that's the workshops that I talked about. And 3, the fellow dojo members who are seemingly always willing to work with each other, train positions, do postmortems, give helpful tips, criticisms, and references to look into that are suitable to our level. Finally, I hope each of us grow as players and enjoy the process. Everyone should have started earlier to be a good chess player, but unless you have a time machine, the best time to start is now. And even if you can never become a GM, you also can never get better and have fun playing the game unless you start now. I don't know where my game and I will reach our limit, but I'm willing to bet that it can be higher than many will say, even though I am starting to learn this game now, especially with the help of the dojo, its members, and the new modern tools that are available. Please remember to say internally to every player you beat, "Welcome to the dojo." That's right. Cool. I'm a salesman. Great. Well, welcome to the dojo, Gizmeister Flex. All right, so here we go, Get Chess. And I believe Get Chess is also doing a podcast about chess improving. So somewhere near Scranton. So it's race cars. Shoot. I wish I knew what his if somebody knows in chat what the name of his podcast is, that would be cool, because I know he does have one. Now, my friends, look at this one. Ba-bam! The man started right before the new year, And you can see he is crushing it, right? It says in his bio, he says, but I'm at the bio. This is the bio. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. Podcast name Garage Heroes in Training, or G-Hit for short. There it is. So check out his podcast. Beautiful thing. Okay, so as you can see, Get Chess has graduated to 720, gained 510 points since starting here. It's amazing. Okay, and Chess.com Rapid, looking good. And also he's done some USCF. That'll probably take a little longer to catch up, but you can see it's not that far behind. Next thing we've got to say is, holy moly, look at some of these tactics things going on. He's a little all over the place, but the big number is that he got an amazing Puzzle Rush survival score. So I also don't know when Bill's limit is, but at least the tactics rating suggests that he's going to get there soon. Now, one thing I want to stress is, as I mentioned, the 3 things that people need to learn to get to raise their rating at this level are board vision, time usage, and development. And one thing that will be interesting in the game that we check on here is that Bill, when we first started working together, had a real problem with moving way too fast. And I think he's close to conquering it. I don't know if he's fully conquered it, but he's close to conquering it. And that, along with this tactics thing, suggests that he should go up quite a bit in the near term. Okay, so here we go. We're going to see if he got some clubs. He's in the 50 plus with me. And also, I think he had a little club. Yeah, there it is. The Chess at Desert near Scranton. He's the only member. He's the only member. All right. I know he's got a bunch of games. Let's see here. Let's look at this one. Uh-oh. I think he just put that one in and hasn't analyzed that yet. Okay. So he's got a whole review process where only on the second pass does he do it with Stockfish, or third pass. His second pass is the post-mortem. So that's beautiful. Let's take a look at the time usage. Oh, baby. Oh, wait, this is a 1510. This is weird. Maybe we're going to choose a different one here. Hold on. I don't want to do a 1510 game. Here's a 30-minute game. And here, look at this. He's still gone criminal. He's still criminal, man. Well, I just want to make sure this is something I haven't seen before. So, some crazy stuff is going to go on in this game. It's so short, though, I kind of want to see if we got a different one here. He's in the workshop, so I might have done some of these. So here is one where you can see with the time graph that he's done much better. His opponent does amazing. Right? Okay. So let's do this one. Game review. We'll mark it as reviewed. And here we go. Someone blundered. Nice. Nice. Nice move. Good. Fantastic. Fine. Good. 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 Oh, great. Let's take it. That strikes me as a little bit weird. So we're up. By the way, a very, very, very basic thing at this level is once we take their pieces, we just want to consolidate our position. So I don't understand G4 taking on d6, winning another pawn, is both trading and making our life a lot easier. Now let's take it. No. I don't know what we're doing over there, Bill. Bill is his name. Get chess. Let's take it now. No. Let's take it now. No. All right, so that's a little annoying. But he just hung his piece. Life is hard. And he traded, which helps you. That move makes me nervous. It's not bad, but it makes me nervous because, like, that's the kind of thing where you might get whacked with your pieces. That makes me nervous. You're doing fine because you got so many extra pieces, but normally I would say I'm worried about g6. Good move. Good move. Terrible move. Thank you very much. One of the things we just want to say, and one of the reasons to get chess, should improve rapidly, is at this level they will hang stuff, right? And one of the things that workshop is, and going over other people's games, you're like, oh, these kinds of mistakes are happening all the time. I'm just not seeing them. And once you see it, it's like, oh, I think I could make progress because these guys are hanging pieces all the time. Okay, so well done. Here we go. We got Chris next. I got to change the scene. Chris says, loving everything about the program so far. Planning to go to my first OTB tournament in a month. Hoping to get some work and fun games in until then. Thanks to everyone involved for the great work. Okay, here is Chris. Let's read what he says. Started to be interested in chess around 2019. Got addicted. All right. A loose group that play rapid chess. It looks great. And since joining the dojo, he has gone up 162 points. This is Chris's second graduation. And he is looking good at 934. Okay. Join the dojo and your rating will go up. He's in the European dojo. Maybe get a little bit more specific about which European. Here we go. Slippery slope. Ba-boom. All right. So a little light on the annotations, but first we're going to look at the times. And we're going to say, as is typical at this level, that people in general are moving faster than they should. Okay? And this is a very general statement, but it is remarkably true that the lower rated you are, the more you're going to be guilty of moving too fast. The higher rated you are, the more likely you're going to be guilty of moving too slow. All right, here we go. Game review. Fine. GM level so far. Fine. Probably unnecessary to take on c3. Fine. Queen e7. Good move. Knight g4. And now you played h3. I think this is good. Rook e1. Very good. F4, very good. And then the key question or tactic that we would want to see is that there's no queen c5 because of bishop e3. Very good. A4. Now, you're getting a little frisky over there. You get a little frisky. Try to get this in, and he's going to fall for it immediately. Yeah, so what would be better? Probably something like king h1. You're going to have to get out of the way. Okay. Okay. Intuitively, I like bishop b5 and bishop f1 a lot better. Bishop b5 comes with the bishop c6 threat. Now he's giving you the pawn, but you maybe rightly say I'll take it later. Oh, that's too much. Great move. Simple chess. I like it a lot. And then it's very important that you see that on rook f2, as in the game, you have queen a8. And you talk about rook here and rook g1, but that's no bueno because he has queen here, and then here. So this is important. So in this position, we need to find a better move because otherwise we're going to get wasted by rook f2. Now, I think the answer at least comes to my mind is queen g5. And with this move, we prevent rook d2. We prevent rook f2 because of this. And if he does nothing special, we're going to play queen e3. Right? Give him the boot. Okay, well done. And that was, I would say, a pretty typical game at this level. I thought h3 was very good because you are understanding the power of this pin. To what extent you calculated it, I don't know. It would be good to see your thoughts. And one thing I see with this move h3, for example, is you only spent 59 seconds on it. As we saw, it was actually a little bit more complicated because you need to see the queen c5. You can meet it with bishop e3. Okay, so here we go. Mr. Michael Franco's in the chat, and he says he's going to pop on when Penrose is on, and I think Penrose is on now. There he is. Ba-boom. Let's go grad show template. Penrose says, this graduation has taken me a while, but here we go. Now, Penrose has graduated many times, my friends, many times. Brian, thank you for following. Knows All teaches me an amazing amount about this game every time we talk. Thanks for working this old man, coach. And Norris Chess spends time going over games with me, and I learn something from him every session. Also, his weekly under 1,000 game review sessions are fantastic for anyone under 1,000. Jesse, please review my annotated game against Chess is Hard. This game is from a recent round-robin dojo tournament. The dojo community continues to be the best part of this chess journey for me. Muno13 and Kay Borman join me for weekend sessions regularly, and we always have a great time. Muno is the only dojoer I've met in real life, and we have become good friends. So many more folks that I can't name them all. Thanks for all the games, postmortems, and sparring sessions. I very much enjoyed just about every interaction I've had with a fellow dojo member. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Penrose in the chat, too. So here we go. This is going to be fun. Ba-boom. And let's take a look. So Penrose is at 919. He has... he's in the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's amazing. And there is this amazing heat map. Now, it would go further back, but this heat map is always just showing a year. And as you can see, Penrose is working pretty amazingly here. It looks like, by the way, you can set your weekly goal. And Penrose, it looks like, has set it for 6 hours, which is great. Okay. I set mine for 15. I don't always hit it. I don't always hit that 15. The other thing we should say about this is you can see from the graph that it's been hard. He's been working hard at it. This was not like some easy peasy thing. You know, we go back 70 dojo points. That's no chump change. Also, he was doing non-dojo work with the tactics. That's the shaded green there. Okay, quick look at his tactics rating, commensurate with his actual rating right now. Maybe it would be, let's use these. It would be higher if the tactics tests were higher. All right, clubs, 50 plus, knows all crew. I like it, dude, the knows all crew. And we got a second one for players who are over 50 called Never Too Late. Okay, I didn't even know about that one. Here we go, games. Chess is Hard 101. Here we go. This was played on 8:30. Okay, we're going to take a look at the times. Penrose is black. And as you can see, that's a very nice time graph. I'm going to suspect that he's winning here. by move 37 because the time goes up after that. So the 30 plus 30 game, let's get into it. So, fine. Okay. Yeah. Now, there's so many different things to do here. And he talks in the notes about bishop a7. It's hard for me to say that rook e8 is wrong. The idea of bishop a7 is just to get out of the way. A new rule that I've formulated is whether you play the London or this structure, so you have the pawns here in this structure and the bishop here, or in the London you're going to have the pawns here and the bishop here, you're probably going to have to move the bishop again. So here, bishop a7, we're just getting out of the way of all the smackaroos that can happen to us here. Okay, so rook e8, bishop g5. Let's read what he says. This move for white is not the best as nothing is really threatened. Black's knight on f6 is not critical for defense and was not threatening to win a pawn. Okay. So one thing about this move, which is very grandmasterly, or rather the comment is grandmasterly, is in general, the GMs don't like to play bishop g5 in these positions because h6 creates a real question where the bishop might get not trapped but paralyzed into a position where they don't want to be. Okay. Now sometimes it's fine though. But that's the general reason bishop g5 is usually frowned upon. So GM level games usually go like rook e1, knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, that kind of thing. Okay, so here we go. Bishop g5, h6. And he's talking about d4 as being stronger. Now, maybe it is, but I do just want to say your move, bishop a7. Oh, I would say don't take. Don't take. Just play bishop a7. And you say de5, material is even, but white's position looks better. Oh, okay. Honestly, if I was white, I would really try to avoid taking. And I don't want you to take because that gives this knight the square and makes that pawn stronger. So just hold that strong e5 point. To me, this looks equal, by the way. Okay, so h6. You will get bishop g5 a lot, by the way, because that's just what they do. That's just what they do. All right. So you talk about g5 and you talk about bishop a7. You talk about bishop d7. They're fine. I think your bishop e6 move is probably okay. But then rook e6 is a problem. Okay. Rook e6. It seems like a problem to me anyways because I'm concerned about this kind of thing. One of the reasons I didn't feel bishop e6 was a mistake was because of with fe, it still feels fine for you, right? It still feels totally fine. In these Ruy Lopez, especially the how should we call them? The slow ones here, where d4 hasn't been played. Black usually has to make some big mistakes to actually be lost, or even significantly worse. Okay, b4, mistake, missing the chance. Now you're fine. Good move. Oh, I like that move a lot. Yeah. What I really like about it is it shows that you see that you can use the knight over here to mess with the bishop, and also that this knight in its current position is dominated by these pawns. So I think I'm going to give you an exclam for knight e7. Good move. d4. Frisky. I think bishop g3 feels automatic to me. ED4, CD4, and did you find it? Bishop D4. Okay. In the game, I had calculated this move a few moves back. I knew I was winning a pawn, so I played this move without much thought. Knight E4 is probably a little better. Yeah. They both seem good, honestly, to me. The reason I guess I would like Knight E4 just intuitively is that I want to get rid of this knight before it comes to F5. I also would love to land with that juicy queen here, so I'd be looking at all these coconuts. This one in particular. But okay, here we go. Bishop D4 seems fine. Rook C1, D5. And right, now you can't play Knight E4. Snobos. If I was black, I would be scared of Knight F5. That would be the move. I'd be like, I don't like it. I don't like that big fat knight in my face. You know? That's the one I'd be scared of. Blind Man asked me if I have a strong opinion of A6 versus A5. Not really. This seems to help you. Knight D5. Knight D5 seems... I guess it's fine. A little weird to let him take on E6. But it's got to be okay. Okay, good. Notice the beauty of this FE move was that now the knight, it's more difficult for it to go to its glory square. And so unless he can make knight G6 work, which I don't know how it works, that's a good thing. Now, what does he do with B5? He activates your rook. And you say this is a small advantage for black. To me, it looks winning. But I understand to say just black is a little bit better. Queen F6, great move. Now, you like Bishop F6 more, but I have a hard time not believing in Queen F6. Look at this. You know, you're lining this bad boy up. You're controlling this knight. You're controlling this one. Everything looks great. All right, Queen D3. And now you played Rook A1. And say, in the game I decided to trade off the rooks, getting closer to an endgame where I'm up a pawn. Let's just talk about it. White isn't threatening anything, and your rook is better than their rook. So we should be thinking about, you mentioned Rook A3. Is there something wrong with Rook A2? I don't know. It could also, looks also kind of strong. Nice analysis, Penrose. This is really good analysis. Okay. So now, he might get a little counterplay now. Maybe we missed that. You played Bishop E5. And the bummer there is that his knight is then doing something. Great notes with King F7. Beautiful. And notice, you've still got it totally together. And white just has a clear positional problem with the knight on H4 being offsides. Beautiful move. So now his knight can kind of do things and he wins a pawn. Okay. Check to the miserable king, but good. Beautiful. All right, so his knight has fixed himself. You're up a pawn. You still have beautiful chances to win this game. Now, you talk about G5, or you play G5, talk about Queen B6 and Knight F4. Knight F4 is what we'd like to do. Unfortunately, then Queen E4 comes. And Knight E3, you know, you give as winning the game. Knight E3, you would have to calculate a lot to play that game, to play that move. I would say if you just want to come up with a default move, then Queen B6 or Queen E3 look good because they just maintain your advantage. In Knight E3, if you do it, yeah, you have to really calculate it out. In fact, let's look at your analysis just for a second. Queen E4, G6, and now you talk about Knight E5, and then look at this one. Bang! Oh, man, that's evil. And honestly, I think you have to see that. You have to see that trick when you play Knight E3. You got to see it. And that, honestly, that's, that's 2,000 plus chess if you see that. Okay, so here we go. Queen c8. Just g5 in general too. You're losing your mind because you're opening your kimono, Penrose. We don't want to be opening our kimono over here. Very important to have a closed kimono. Now I'm getting worried a little bit. You're going for the glory? Uh-oh. So, Queen f8 looks good. He probably missed this knight f6 move. But on the other hand, I'm frightened. I'm very frightened here of things that are happening. So, knight f6, and you say clear advantage for black. Queen c7. b6. And then you say b7, e5. No, come on. If anyone's better here, Pedro, white's better. Come on now. Come on now. White's king goes, let's say, king g1. And what are we talking about? If you play e4, I'm coming in here. I got this. You might not lose, but you ain't going to win this thing. You're going to have to calculate this whole variation. But I'm going to get something whilst you're doing all that. Nebula, thank you for being here. Okay. So, king e4, exclamation. Queen f6, and now this is a really nice move, queen f2. Very nice. Now, I just want to say the quality of the annotations in a lot of these moves really suggests somebody who is well past Penrose rating. Well past. So, obviously, a good game, but even so, like if you can play moves like this, queen f2, so many players would play queen f3 without thinking about it. Queen f2, now we take with check, and the game's over. So, it's a very good sign for your chess. And I suspect, and now maybe Nose has seen more games of yours, of course. I suspect you've got some other problem. Some other problem that's holding you back, because otherwise you'd be 2,000 already. Okay, so this game, very high level. Nice move. See, that's just high level. We're going to just let him squirm. Let him squirm as much as he wants. Beautiful. Okay. Well, that was really well done. That was very well done. Penrose, well, dude, yeah, that was, to be under 1,000, I don't get it, buddy. I don't get it. You had some moves in there, buddy. You had some moves. All right, next up we got C-Boy. C-Boy says, spent most of my time playing and analyzing after joining Lee Chess Ladders and the Lone Wolf League while already being in a couple of round robins. This was great, but think I need to rebalance with more tactics. I enjoyed Polgar, learned the Chess Right Way book, and will finish it, though found the problems quite simple so far. I've read most of the books in the program. That one is the one I haven't. Kostya was the one who put it in there. And we had a very strongly worded complaint about that book. So if you guys have more thoughts on that one, I'm ready to hear it. So C-Boy is over here. All right, this is C-Boy. You can see he's doing great. This is the second graduation, and he's been working on it. And he's over there at 1059, 1309 ChessCon. Now, one basic thing I like to stress at this on the graduation show is once you reach about 1250 ChessCon, which is R1000, that's when you are going to start seeing players who aren't hanging their pieces anymore. They will, some, okay, but it's just not going to be always the decisive thing that decides games. And that's why at this level, it really is often going to be about players who aren't, sometimes not taking their time, but more often than not aren't sensitive to tempi in the game, activating their stuff, making superficial moves. Okay? So, let's get into it. This is C-Boy Clubs. Where's this man from? The Irish Chess Club. Great. And then we got some games going on. Here is C-Boy, played recently. And, ooh, look at that one. So, as you can see, oh, these people, these people were really thinking. So we'll see what was going on there. This is against a lower rated player. Okay, looks good. Amazing. So honestly, at where you guys are, if you were a higher rated player, I'd yell at you for moving too slow. But where you are now, I'm just happy that you are thinking. Okay, because clearly both players are very deep, went very deep into the position. All right, here we go. Game review. So, ba-boom. Mark that as reviewed. And fine. Fine. Little weird. Little weird. Fine. Generally a bad idea to allow b5. Usually we stop him. And now e6 is a mistake. Black should play b5 and get an interesting game. Usually we call this a mistake because now the knight can come here. But if, yeah. So, bishop takes. Notice that was not a developing move and this was. And now e5 is also not a developing move. And the thing that's motivating you is you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to trade the queens. But it's not that big of a deal to be trading these queens. All right. I think black is now better. Knight fd7. Good. b5. Probably okay. Now, the engine gives a very long line there. Let me say something obvious. b5 is kind of what we long-term want to do. But we should really be thinking about, hey, how do I fix the king? And it's a little tricky because on king c7, we'd have to worry about knight d5. And if bishop takes, I'm opening up this guy, which I just in principle don't want to do. Okay? So it is an interesting position where I feel like you're fine, but I don't quite know what you should be doing here. And maybe, even though my gut instinct is that black was better, maybe it is a little difficult for you to play this position. I'm going to go ahead and say king e7 is the correct mundo. You do have to fix the king. All right, that makes me really nervous. a3 is just a waste of time. So, again, what I'm saying is it's about development at this level. Some people hanging stuff, it's about development. So black is an understanding that they have to fix their king. And white is doing a reactive move because, first of all, he's like worried about b4 or something, and then the pawn hanging. But if it was black's move and he played b4, we just play knight d5. All right, some long computer variation of bishop d3. But the bigger point is that white here should be thinking about improving their pieces. Some examples. Knight d5, rook he1, the computer's move, bishop d3, probably also knight e4, rook d6 also comes to mind. All of these things look like they're improving the white position. Oh, and Blind Bandit said oftentimes Penrose is losing on time. Well, might be a thing. Okay, so a3, loss of time. Knight e7, I'm going to call that a loss of time. Probably fine. Unnecessary. Good. Now knight e4 looks strong. Bishop d3. Someone said knight e4 in the notes. Knight e4, I mean, that's just a big old fatty. That's a loss of time. Bishop e4. I still like knight e4. And now we hang a piece. And he says he did this in time pressure. Okay, do I have to do a take back? What I said about the time pressure, about the piece hanging? I said they still do it sometimes. Well, that's a blunder right there. So, and definitely now f3. So when you take on d7, you're like relieving the pressure in the black position. And bishop f3 played with 48 seconds. He's not thinking. He's also in a little time pressure. Okay, so now we have to reassess. I guess I like black better. His king's better. Okay. Okay. Check the miserable king. Good move. Now, Injun might say that's a mistake and you have some super long line, but honestly, rook f1 looks like a normalish move to me. What's happened, by the way? Black's pieces are active and yours aren't. That's what's happened. Good move. Rook g4. I think rook g2 should be a question. Rook g2 looks very difficult to meet because we'll molest this bishop and then we're going to take this pawn. And now he misses this. We got a lot of people missing stuff. All right, king d2. Now the thing that worries me about king d2 is the king really needs to be close, as close as possible to this pawn. Now, in general, black might just be winning now because of that outside pass pawn. So I'm trying to say, I want to play something like king e1 to get my king a little closer to that coconut when he starts running, see? But it might not make a difference. King d5 played much too fast, but they're in time pressure. I think, king d5, king d2, and now I want to look h4. That looks winning to me. See? h4, knight g5 doesn't do anything because I still come here. Yeah. And so if king e3, I go exclam, you cannot come here because I go here and I'm covering my little point. A lot of endgame studies finish with this pattern here where the king does not get there. All right, so here we go. And this should be winning for black. This is a good example of shouldering. Let's keep him out. No, this isn't going to help. All right, so great example of an outside pass pawn. How that can be a big old deal. All right, well done, C-Boy. That was good, bud. All right. So, we'll go back to the grad show. Lots of people are yelling at me in Discord. Oh, that's going to be okay. I'm going to deal with that later. Onar Skis says, I continue to be very impressed with the dojo approach to training. No gimmicks, shortcuts, or clickbait, just a consistent and solid approach to chess pedagogy. The program works. We've definitely done some clickbait, but that's more in our content. In our content, we've done some clickbait. We just want people to click it and then come see the program. So this is Onarxis. A little bit joined a while back, but hasn't graduated twice. Looks like he's not logging the work. So that might just be hard to see. So clubs, we got games, nothing. So Onarskis, thank you for the compliments on the dojo. Yeah, you got to be putting it up, buddy. Write up what you've been doing. Give us some games. All right. Next up, we have Puzzling Skill. Puzzling World, excuse me. Puzzling World has graduated numerous times. Has Faruja as their icon. And a little bit unclear. I think I remember this person. They graduated a number of times. I haven't marked too much of what they're doing. No clubs. And we got one game. I think before, right? He graduated a bunch of times, but this is the first time we get a game. So, looks like this is a USCF game. We don't have the times. As I say every time, it is possible to input your times, but I understand it's a little difficult. He feels his true strength is around 1800 USCF. Well, let's see. All right. 97, I think, is a little weird, but we're not. Now, bishop f5 makes me a little loopy. I feel a little loopy about bishop f5 because queen b3 would just talk to my light squares in ways that I'm not. Oh, my arrows are all messed up. Queen b3 would talk to my light squares in ways that I wouldn't feel good about. So white loses a tempo here. Good move. A little controversial to take that thing. Bishop a3. Bishop a3 has to be fine. So in general, with the hanging pawns, we don't want to trade off pieces in general. So bishop e2 would be the preferred dogmatic approach. Because now he's going to be looking to talk to our light squares. You're still doing fine, though. Rook e8, and I think that's in principle a good move, knight g5. And he writes, I spent so much time here because I thought I was simply winning after this move. So, I can't see the times. I can't see the times. So, he's thinking about knight g6 or g6. And this is just a good move because we are getting at the king. It's a little difficult for him. And he talks about knight g6, queen f5. And it is a very nice move. Look what he's saying. He's saying knight g6, queen f5, and we got these zippers and the zappers. That's very nice. That's well done. So, g6, h5. So, now queen d5, which doesn't feel right to me. My main question would be, what about knight c4? Again, the problem with trading off our bishop was that we did that. So, in fact, when we play queen h3, we just need to be aware that we are leaving that square. Okay. That's very frisky, queen d5. It looks losing, doesn't it? Boom. Boom. Now we're winning. Okay. So, rook e5, resigning immediately. You are winning this position here, though. I would have taken with a rook just to keep bringing the other rook to the file, but you're doing fine. I mean, you're crushing him. You're crushing this fool. Okay, so no problemo. Easy win. That was great, dude. Yeah. That was really well done, Puzzling World. So I look forward to continue looking at your progress. I think it would help you a lot if you logged your work and put in some more games. And, you know, if you're 1800 strength, that would be amazing. You know, that would be incredible. Using the USCF. It'll take a while, but, you know, if you actually are 1800 strength, it'll happen. You know, the first couple hundred points will come fairly quickly. Okay, so here we go. Next up, we have David Rawcliffe. All right. So here's David. Joined pretty recently. Flying up, 1131. Clubs. Nothing. Games. We got a couple. Now, in general, I need these games to be in here. So let's look at this one. This is against the iceberg. I know we have an ice man, but I don't know about the iceberg. So, oh, buddy. There we see it. There we see it. Now it's a short game, but still. All right, let's go game review. Mark this is reviewed. Little weird to block the bishop, of course. Okay. We see this a lot. This level, it's just a terrible thing. It's not so much. Why is it terrible? Because when you just do some cranky system like this, you're not going to learn to develop, and that's going to be the most important thing for your chess education. Opens the H file for you, F file, excuse me, and then plays H5. Weird. 92. Okay. We need more annotations here. That was weird that he opened up the F file like that. Ooh, Queen F4, baby. Oh no, we got toasted. Okay, so let's talk about this a second. So, H5, no one knows. At least I don't know. Knight D2, Queen G5. Now, it's important for you to see that when you take on E4, you do lose the tempo. Right? So, a nice move here would be, I think, Queen F3. Notice that this develops, touches the knight, and looks to mess with him on the F file. And that is not developing. Now, look, when you play this thing with F4, you got to be sensitive to this boy here. And I don't know, you're in a little bit of trouble because you're so undeveloped. And now that D file's open, and now we are legitimate grief. I guess we're lost already. We're already lost because he's threatening bishop E3. Why did this game get lost so quickly for white? Because he had development problems. That's what went down. But maybe also we should add that he didn't use his time. Flying Bandit says, shame to your family in the next 12 generations. That's right, bud. What are we doing here, huh? What are we doing? Next up, we have the PLB. Doesn't say much. We're going to see what's going on with the PLB. I wasn't reading the YouTube chat. We were talking about Penrose and his calculation skills. Honestly, I thought he had some good calculation in those games. Right. Ibrahim asks, how can you join the classes? Well, if you come to the dojo, we have classes by Nose Knows All is doing those classes, and I also have some workshops. And we're going to try to develop the dojo classes more as well. Something we're working on. Okay, so the PLB 1204 joined a long time ago, but hasn't really been marking much on the old scoreboard. Right? Okay, so a little bit hard to judge what's going on with PLB. Do we got some games? We got some games. All right, let's take a look at this one, the PLB. So, it looks like this was an online game, but the times weren't transferred over. Okay, so let's go game review. He talks about accuracy score. That's never made any sense to me. Okay. Okay. Fine. Little poor to take like that. Fine. Fine. Not great because it's not developing. Fine. Okay. Good. Be doing fine. The PB is doing fine. Good. Okay. Good. You're doing great. And your opponent should probably play c4 at some point to cut your bishop out. You play bishop g5. Okay. That's frisky. Queen e4. Now it's getting hot. Bishop d2. And now we have queen f3. Welcome to the... It's not quite a welcome. Is this a welcome to the dojo moment? Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah, this is a welcome to the dojo moment. So bishop d2 is a bad move. Voomp. We got him. Toast. Easy chess. Okay. So PB, that was well done. We got opponent blundering here. And we just want to say you played a little passively in the opening, but that's not what I think that's fine to play passively if you're comfortable with that. And your opponent does what they do. They lose time. Right? Okay. I like the way you got all your pieces out here. So that was good. All right, well done. Ba-bam. So next up we got Amer. And let's get the right thing going on here. Amer joined very recently, graduated 3 million times. I don't know what's going on there. 1205. Maybe he doesn't have anything going on. I don't know. Let's go see. So Amer just joined. Welcome to the dojo, Amer. Hopefully we'll get some stuff from you soon. And next up we have counter transference. Says, I still think I'm underrated on elite chess, but I think I am at least above 1300. Well, let's go see. So yeah, you're in the wrong cohort, counter transference. So put yourself in the right cohort, and then we'll take a look at your business. Marking some stuff. So yeah, next week put it in the right cohort, and we'll do it. Maybe get some. Hopefully, maybe you already have games, but you could put some games in there for us. Did I see the Nose All Steady on Morphe? Yes. I'm going to bring it up on our Friday meeting whether we should. He wants us to put it in the program. So far, we don't really have Elite Chess studies in the program, but we could consider doing it. Next up, Represso. He's got 78. Oh, and Represso is a student at Warwick University in the UK. When you read this, I'm either studying, sleeping, or playing chess. Okay, this is looking cool, Represso. Let's just pop this out for a second. Ba-bam! Look at that. Represso is graduating, my friends. 1323. This gained 432 points, and now I'm just going to admit ignorance. I lived in England for a year, but I can't place Warwick, so I'm just gonna. I need to put it on a map. Need to put it on a map. Oh yeah. Oh, it gave me it gave me the Warwick in the US. Give me a break. Come on. So where are we? Outside Birmingham. That's where Warwick is. They probably pronounce it. Well, if I say Warwick, they'll be like, no, boss, that's not the way you say it. It's Warwick. I don't know. I'm sure in Connecticut or wherever you have that other Warwick, it's Warwick. That's probably what they say. Actually, in Connecticut too, right? They have the Witches of Eastwick. I was just thinking about that. All right, now I'm going deep. What does Wick mean in a city name? Wick means a village or dwelling place, like witch. Okay, good. All right, that was too deep, Cry. That was too deep. We're going back. We're going back. All right, so 432, clubs, UK. Makes sense. If you got friends over there, we want to see the Warwick one. Now we got some from last month. Let's go no name round 3. Ba-bam. OTB game. All right, local club. Do we have times? We do. Now notice what he did. This is totally fine. Is he just put in the times for himself. And there's a variety of reasons why it's very interesting to see what your opponent did, but I understand how it's more interesting and important for you to do it yourself. And that is a very good time graph. Okay, let's go game review skis. Fine. Fine. Okay, fine. All right. So this is an ancient line, and this move, knight c6, is very fancy. Totally understandable that you'd play that. All right, white is maybe a touch better here, but in a kind of fancy way. Right. Now, rook d8 was played. So he's thinking about bishop f2. Now, we just want to say there's a lot of fancy things that are happening here. And the first question I have is, what's wrong with bishop f2 now? Maybe nothing. On rook d8, in the notes he says bishop f4, and he calls it the main line. I would, if I didn't know that it was the main line, I would just be terrified because bishop f4 looks like a hassle. The kind of long-term Catalan pressure if you go bishop f4, queen e7. I played the Catalan for years, you know. So, but anyways, here we go. Bishop d2. This looks terrible, pinning his bishop. And now he could play knight c6, and he could play bishop f2. It looks like bishop f2 to me. Like the guy has just pinned himself. Take the pawn. But okay. Bishop d7. Now it's a little weird. And now white plays e4. Yeah. And you're a little worse. Sure, you're a little worse. Okay. I think knight bd7 was better too. Now our queen's just sad and uncomfortable. Okay, this is a big moment. This has got to be a mistake. So, white's got a lot of different moves. That one isn't it. That rook was, in fact, if I was white here and it was my move, I might play it, back. I might play it back. All right, queen b7. Knight e5. And he's saying we can't take it yet. Fine, just go back. That's soft. Okay, c8 looks fine. Bishop f8 or something. Bishop d4 also looks good. E5, bishop e8. He says, no draw. Snip, snap. That's really weird. It lets you dislocate his knight. Okay, fine. You're doing fine. And now b5 and knight h5. Didn't even consider g5 during the game. Yeah, it looks like, well, the whole engine line is whatever it is, but g5 just in principle from the human eye looks like we just won the game instantly. That's what it looks like. Maybe the human line, by the way, is g5, knight f3, right? And then just, I know the engine says it's equal here. Maybe it is. Yeah, okay. My first instinct was that black was going to be better here, but I guess I'm willing to be sold. b5, very strange move. Dude plays h3 and misses knight f3. Okay, knight h5. Good move. Now you're better. Good. In general, I mean, I get it. He wants to put the knight on e4, but his pawns now lose a lot of their flexibility. Now you play knight c7. I also like just get out of the way and get ready for knight c5. Very fancy. He says he calculates this move, queen d4, on move 27. That doesn't make any sense to me. But white could have done so many different things. White could have done different things. Okay, queen d4. That's not it. Get out of here. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure I get it. And now f5 is played. It might be an interesting move, f5, yeah. Okay. Snip, snap. Queen d2. All right, our bishops are they're hopping mad. Good. That was my only lapse of concentration during the game. I saw neither knight b6, queen d7, nor queen c3. It's weird that he let you take the pawn, right? Like here, he's not, normal people, if they don't see a fancy tactic like that, they're going to play king h2 or king g2 or something. Queen c3. But now he has blown it. But why isn't? Oh man. Yeah, and then we return the favor here. So queen c3, and this is where I guess you spent 9.5 minutes here, and here we have bishop f2. That hurts. Okay. Represso. That was a very good game. And I'm just going to, well, we can continue it. It looks technical at this point. Well, maybe. No. It looks completely over. Very fancy moves by white. I don't know. I don't know. He's playing with fire here. You play like, yeah. I guess we're toast. He's playing with sticks or something. Well, I don't know what you want to say. I think I would have wanted to look at that a little deeper just to see if you had any other chances, because he certainly didn't play that great. Okay, well done, Represso. Sorry about the loss. And now we're going to look at Goat God. Then we're going to be done. Goat God says, I had absolutely no time to train in September and haven't marked much on here since I also do some training otherwise. Here's the Goat God. Okay. So, first we're going to go over here. Boom. Goat God is doing great with the Deutsche Wettzahl. 1359, maybe not logging his time as he said. Cool that he's using the German rating. And let's see. Join the German club, or better yet, if you belong to a specific German club, I don't know, Sindelfingen, Viernheim, one of those cool clubs, then boom, make a club here at the dojo. Here's my games. Ba-boom. So, we'll look at the Goat God. This is Jakob Neumann. So, this is the Itzehoe Chess Cup. And we got times. Look at that. Black. We're going to see what if he just knew exactly what was going on, or if he committed crimes against the clock. All right, here we go. Game review. So, fine. We see this a lot at this level. Good. Fine. And now bishop d6. I would want to know what's going on with knight e5. I think it's fine. I think we actually probably go bishop takes, pawn takes, knight h5. So good moves, very strong. Seeing the queen b7 is met by rook b8. Fancy, but okay. Good. and knight e5. So now we have a very typical position that's probably been reached before, honestly, where we're going to call this a Carlsbad structure. And yeah, now it's going to be who plays better. And one of the interesting little wrinkles, let's call it, is white plays knight g4. And the issue is that his knight on e5 is really his best piece. And so he's thinking, maybe telling himself a story like, oh, you know, bishops are better than knights or something, but it's not better than that knight. It's not better than that knight. And so this is a very good note here with f4. And we should just say that part of the grief for white there is, how do I get the queen back to the king side? Because the white queen would like to participate in the attack. All right. I agree with you, a mistake. And now you go for it. Beautiful. This is called the minority attack. Fine. Rook b1, that's soft. Good, good. Queen c7. Notice now that white just has a weakness, and they don't really have any compensation. And no initiative with knight e5. Beautiful. Fine. Knight a5 feels a little bit more like a thing to me, to get the c4 square. And now c4. Okay, I don't think we should have let him do that. I didn't like that you let him relieve himself. Now white has committed a lot of crimes, but now should be kind of sort of okay. Queen b3 was played. I don't know. Bishop d3 makes a lot of sense to me. Threatening mate and the knight. I think white is fine. Maybe even better, right? Because the queen can come down to d7. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I get that. Good. I think it's okay. Just dogmatically, I'd like you to play something like g6. Okay. Why aren't we taking on d4? Because you're worried. Yeah, what are you worried about, bud? Is it queen d3? Even so. No, yeah. What are we talking about? Knight d4. What are we doing? I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand anything. Something's wrong here. Oh, okay. So hold on. My bad. He took a draw somewhere up here. Somewhere up here he took a draw. So knight f6. And he says, protecting d5. My next plan would be knight f5, king f8. Maybe trade queens once the pawn is blocked. And I offered a draw. Got it. Okay. So yeah, in this position, white should hold. But you're definitely the one who should be like, yeah, let's play on. Yeah, control. In general, the thing about the isolated pawn, a good rule of thumb is that the worst situation for the player with the isolated pawn is when they've got the heavies. That means the queens and rooks pounding on the pawn. The minor pieces, like we have here, it's often not that big of a deal because it's hard to actually eventually assault the pawn. Okay, so Blind Bandit said, I've only ever heard chess players say flaccid. Ah, you haven't hung out with enough women yet. There we go. I stole soft from Larry Christensen years ago. He said that when he was commentating some game. Never heard somebody say that move is flaccid. Maybe your play was flaccid or something. I've never heard that your move was flaccid. All right, my friends, I'm going to be back next Wednesday. I think Kostya might come on soonish to do the St. Louis show. I don't have any particular knowledge of that, but I think that might be happening in like 30 minutes or something like that. But we're going to raid somebody anyway. We're going to raid the Blood Queen. She is a friend of the dojo for sure. Say hi to her. And we'll be back next Wednesday. We do this graduation show all the time. Good times. Blood Queen, say hi to her. She's got a lot of people watching. Bye.